Okay, folks, welcome back. Man, it takes a whole lot of clicks to get that going. Maybe there's a way to just like, hey, why don't you start my feed exactly with the same parameters that I had last time? Because I'm too lazy to change them. I'm not a tech person. Me and my crude videos. If you wanted to see high quality stuff, you wouldn't be coming here. Well, I mean, this is high quality, but not the filming crap. Alright, so we left off this Red Baron knockoff sort of thing just before we had to do any weathering. So we're going to do weathering, we're going to go kind of light on it, and then we'll come in and we'll put the drippings and any more black panel lining you may need. Alright, so we've got a whole host of reds out here. Let's put them away. Alright, we're going to use chocolate brown, US field drab, and of course Iraqi sand. Now, the last time I did weathering, I had about 200 more brushes over here, maybe even more than that. So I need to go through here and actually, we've got one that's decent here. It was just taking way too long to find functioning brushes, so we're going to try to manage them a little better. So let's, a little bit of chocolate brown. Very, very little. This is, I guess, what, if I had to call it, I'd call it wet mud, although it's not very wet. Yeah, before I got the airbrush, I'm like, oh, I'll probably use the airbrush for weathering. I mean, there's probably people that, I'm sure there's people that do that. And I'd almost hazard to say that most people that have an airbrush use it for weathering, but I'm just not comfortable with it. The airbrush for me is just a replacement for what it's the stuff I was doing with the spray cans. When the spray cans became unreliable and toxic. And everybody has their style of doing things. I don't like to make unless it's a junker, which I have a couple of them that are that way. You know, most of these vehicles this is what it would look like at their first race, not at the end of their 12th race. And just a warning, we may have a very disjointed paint session today. And the reason for that is, you know, we've got people in the house, so I might get interrupted and such, but it's like, you either move on and do some painting even with those interruptions, or you don't get any painting done. So the alternatives are better. I didn't even repaint the wheels on this, or the rims as most of you would call it, and I occasionally make that mistake as well. I was thinking wheels includes the tires, but apparently that is not the case. Wheels it seems to be used in the car community as just for what the tires mount on. Even though just about everybody calls it rims, even if they don't have rims. If you were to say rims to somebody, they know what the hell you're talking about. We'll put some of this color on the side. I don't mind doing that. Ever so slightly. Alright, and then we're going to go to Iraqi sand. Well, for those of you here in the United States, this is a bittersweet weekend. Because the time changes. So we lose an hour of our weekend, but it's not, you don't feel like the crypt keeper when you get home from work. So, I definitely welcome the time changing. I don't like it being dark at 6 o'clock in the evening. Not going to go real heavy. Yeah, we could spend a lot more time on this than we already do, but I have hundreds of cars to do. And it's not that I'm in a hurry to get them done, but I want to get more cars done. And I think that there is at least for me, there's a willingness to spend time on the subject based on the game. So in other words, if the game is really basic, why are you spending so many hours painting something when it's just, the game's just really basic? I think that that's good. Yeah. I think that's good enough. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and run some black lining and the drippings in places that I feel like still need to pop a little bit. Let's do the black lining first, and then we'll get the Three Sisters out here, which are the dripping colors. Nope, not strong tone, dark tone. Good morning, Jeffrey. Yeah, so it'll be It won't be as bright in the morning. I don't care. It's the evenings that, you don't want to get home from work and be like, well, I guess it's time to go to bed. Like, I went to bed really early yesterday. 9 or something like that. I just couldn't take it anymore. Just couldn't take it anymore. This is why I don't like using those little powders and things like that seem to be in vogue for some people these days. I want all the details of this to be able to see them 3 feet away. Gull wing. Mercedes. You guys feel dirty driving a German car in Britain? Yeah, you asked me the same thing. We feel dirty driving a Japanese one in America? No, because my people weren't here when World War II was going on. This person that I know, they're God, who is it? I think it's several people have told me that. They had their dad. They were an older person. I said, man, if my dad, there's no way my dad would drive a something or another because he was in the war. I don't blame him, you know. We should have a shipment arrive today, and we'll do an unboxing. I'll probably make a video of it because they were nice enough to send me some stuff. They were nice enough to send me a credit, and I ordered some stuff from them. So I want to kind of showcase some of it. And doing a live video just can't get close enough to it. So we'll do one with a minimum of editing, which is always the case anyways with me. I don't like to edit things too much. It is World War II stuff. World War II stuff that I don't have any of. Oh, you mean you got fins? I said, no. I've got the nations they come from. It's just, I don't have those particular things. It's not like I got more Shermans or anything like that. Although I was tempted. I'd more likely get more Shermans than I would more T-34s. The T-34s are all that I have are almost all 176, and I don't want more 176 stuff. It just doesn't look as good for the size of the figures. The figures are oversized. The white metal ones, anyways. And then we'll have a vehicle that is fully weathered, and it looks like it is armed with the weapons that it is armed with on the sheet, and everything will be good with the world. Is it a good build for the vehicle? I don't know. It's different than the other ones, and it goes with the look of it. We're not trying to make a vehicle that's better than any of the other ones. We only have 27 points to work with. I don't want vehicles that are all good at the other one than any other vehicle in every situation. There's no incentive in building another vehicle then. We're starting to get into those days. We got a long run of days where it was colder outside than it was inside the house, and not running any heater. We had I don't know, good 2 months where every day it was you'd come outside, you come inside, and it'd feel hot. And this week it started to change. So, and then it'll just get extreme here shortly, but what's up, the Hoffman? Like I was saying earlier, I've got the house full of women. No, there's two. And it may be a little disjointed this morning if I get interrupted. No big deal. Link up again next week. They should be gone. It just gets to a time where you're working on this, and you're like, this isn't turning out how I imagined it. And then something happens. And all of a sudden it's like, yeah, that's what we're talking about. And then you add a little bit more like, oh yeah, that's what we're talking about. So it's definitely a trust the process type thing. I still have to remind myself of that sometimes when I get discouraged. I don't know, it's not coming out as good as the other ones. And well, you haven't done this yet. You haven't done this yet. You haven't done that yet. I am interested how this thing's going to play, because it's got side ram on it. So I see you clip people and still get into an accident. It's the first vehicle I have that has a side ram on it. Well, the ambulance has explosive rams on the side, but that's one shot and you're done. That's like reactive armor. on a tank. Like, set it off. Boom. Okay, we're done. Yeah. All right, dripping time. Let's get the three sisters out here. Which at some point I'm going to have to go to the store and buy more of these. But they've decided to rename them, and it is not easy to figure out. There's no longer one called mid-brown. The reddish one almost looks like dark blood in a way. And I'm glad I dealt with the paintbrushes. The paintbrushes were out of control. I had hundreds of paintbrushes here. And I do mean hundreds. Because I don't throw them away. You know, I'll be like, oh, this one's going bad. Well, maybe I'll find a use for it. And they're running interference on stuff. So, got to get them out of here. All right, let's start with something like this. All right, what would rust on this son of a bitch? What would corrode? Something around here. Red isn't the best color for it to go on. Yellow's really nice. And obviously white's pretty good too. I think white is the most common color for vehicles. That's one thing everybody's got an opinion on, what color the car is. I've seen people that, you know, like, I'm a fan of silver cars, or black, but specifically silver. Goes with everything. I mean, it looks like it's not painted. Okay, well, I generally don't like white because it looks like you couldn't make a decision. I'll just have a salad. What do you want to eat? I'll just have a salad. I just have a white car. Generally. You gonna do an unboxing video? I am, but I'm not gonna do it live because it's I feel like the quality. You know, I can't tinker with this. Like it's whatever it is. I can't zoom in and stuff, so I think they deserve to, if they're nice enough to send me this stuff, at least I can do is make a proper unboxing. I normally don't do live unboxings unless, on the computer, unless it's a lot of stuff, and I'm like, it would take forever to edit this thing. They should be in today. And I'll try to keep the unboxing to a minimum. You know, the editing to a minimum. Or like, hey, I filmed this video and it takes 2 weeks to get it out. You know, I'm one of those, I have pretty good patience, except when I film something. When I film something and I'm done filming it, I'm like, all right, let's get it out there. Let's get it out there. Why isn't it out there? Why won't people see it? You know, that's one of the few things I'm really impatient about. So, you know, maybe I sell myself short, like, man, if I just take a little bit longer to edit it, I'd get more views. Or like, let's get it out there, you know. Like, I've already seen it. I don't want to keep it to myself. You know? Maybe I'm stealing my own thunder. Blowing my own rig whistle. What? You know, and this might not be somebody's cup of tea. I mean, they'll be like, oh, well, you didn't really repaint the car much. I'm like, why repaint over this too? Like somebody went through some effort and like to decal it. Like, let's use that. You know, it's all whatever your choice is. That's my choice. Some people want to turn everything into a clunker. You know, or make a team where everybody's like the same color. I'm like, I'd never do that. You know. Some people don't want to do what you see is what you get. Or they want to use magnets to interchange your weapons. Honestly, I thought about that, but I do not want to drill in die cast. Die cast is like hard as steel. It's punishing to do it. And I bought supposedly the right bits for it. It's way too much work. You know, and I don't want people to customize the car. Like, this is the car, this is the personality, the name goes with the personality, and this is how it plays. You know, you don't want to play it like, play a different car, you know? That's the whole incentive of painting different vehicles, is you have to play them a certain way. Otherwise, it's like, well, it's all the Marian Roman army, every one of them, you know? It's like, they got to be different for you to play them different. I kind of like that. My players seem to like that too. And generally, when they play, they don't necessarily ask to play anything in particular. They just like randomly roll for it. So I guess it's a good sign, you know. We're not specifically trying to make vehicles that suck. And I've stripped a couple of these cars, and it's not worth the effort. That's actually easier to do than the repaint. Just repainting them just takes a long time. It can take a long time, and I'm gonna lose these twos. You know, it's not like there's tons of decals out there to put them on there. And it, like you look at it, does that look like it looks kind of cool? Yeah, it looks kind of cool. We'll do that. You know, this Land Rover Defender, it's got Defender written on it. It's 68, it's got some striping on it. Like, I wouldn't put the striping back on it if I repainted it. So, you know. Let's make a blend here. I mean, there's a guy on there that there's one guy in particular that I've seen him paint things for Gaslands. It's just amazing. It's like looks 1-to-1 scale, but you know, I don't want to do one vehicle a month or one vehicle every 3 months. You know, the whole point is to have different stuff. I got lots of freaking punny ideas, and they're not going to come to life if I spend, you know, DBA times on them. And the game doesn't really merit that. You know, the game is like Fast and Furious, here today, gone tomorrow, a couple dice and you're done. You know, so I don't want to spend something that takes, you know, 30 hours to work on it, when in mere moments it could disappear. That's one of my gripes with Warhammer. You know, they want you to buy these miniatures that are really expensive, and they're nice looking miniatures. It's not a theme that interests me, but their miniatures look nice. They have a lot of lore and stuff. Again, the lore doesn't interest me. But then when you go and play the game is like, okay, Otter, pick a number 1 through 10. That's how many guys die. It's like, come on, man, the game's too basic for that kind of detail. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I mean, the game's not worthy of the miniatures. And there's lots of miniatures out there that I like. They may not be in the scale that I do, or like there's a company, I think it's called Reconquista something or another, and they do 28 millimeter stuff, and they've got like, they do all like the Reconquista figures, and they do other things as well, but they actually have like leaders like, this is so and so. I'm like, that would be badass if it was the right scale, because I don't do 28s. There's plenty of people already doing 28s. I don't need to do 28s. That's not why I don't do it, but that doesn't help. Okay, I think we may be done with this guy. Here I go again. I still fuck with it. It needs to look like it runs. But, you know, whatever world this is in, and yes, it's Earth. It's just an alternative Earth. There is a lot of acid rain. I'm going to call this one done, but we got to clear coat it. We'll have to clear coat this guy. Baron von Richthofen. I really like the front of it. I love doing the headlamps and the grills and stuff like that, because most of the time the vehicles will have them. They don't put any effort into it. They'll be like all molded in one color, or be some off the wall type color. Tumbling Dice has 20 millimeter World War I troops I really want to paint, but I can't find the World War I game that I like. Yeah, I've told you, I've seen those figures before, and they look amazing. I like the sculpting style. Now, it's funny because some of them are weird. Like, they'll have like Turkish troops, and they have like one pose in them. There's like one guy selling them on eBay, or he used to. I'm concerned about what's the alloy of Tumbling Dice? Is it soft, or is it like the standard alloy? Because I don't like some of those older figures that have the alloy is too soft, and then, you know, it's like the rifle bend, and you bend it back a couple times and it snaps off, you know. And that would be my concern with buying these figures that look like they've been around a while, like somebody has had them a while. But I do like the poses a lot. They look, I like the poses, and I like the painting style, the sculpting style they're done in. Cortina. Never heard of one. Never heard of a Cortina. If somebody showed me this, I'm like, oh, it's a Volvo, because it looks like a Volvo to me. Okay, the interior is black now. Now, we're going to have to modify this thing. I don't know if I really want to tear up that front windshield. That's a pain. pain in the ass to do that. Yeah, this thing will look good with a little grill paint on it. The metal they use is for their ships, which is good, but the masts are so thin, they break and bend too easy. Yeah, I would place them with wire or something. Although I hate drilling into metal. That's the one thing about plastic models. It's like, it's a breeze. I didn't used to have that. I was like, plastic breaks too easy. Yeah, then you do it with metal for a while. You're like, man, I don't want to. I don't want to do that anymore. Do I have a little minigun left? I know I have one that can fit partially into a roof. This one. They also make one that's freestanding but small. I may have already used all the ones that I had. Because hell, the Pussyfoot took 2 of them. And then I won't have to cut up the window. You know, it's not like there's a certain look I want this thing to have. If I mount that there, it's not going to work because that's longer than that. Putting it on the roof just seems lazy. But I think it looks okay. Got these little nibs. That's what I call them anyways. What the hell is a nib? A nipple. Nipple. What have we done on the other ones? Let's look at the building. I know we'll make the right decision. I've gotten this little piece of balsa wood that's going to fit in here, so that then this can sit on there. And then this will fit over it. And then this will cover over the driver's portion and the windows too. I mean, we'll probably leave these windows in, tint them so they're not so damn bright. I thought that wasn't going to work at all. And I did one car and I left that yellow and I just tinted it, and it actually looks like reflective sunglasses. It looks pretty cool. Nips is your cat's name. You have one of those cats. Has your cat ever destroyed something you've been working on just because, it'd be like walking through here, It's actually amazing how many things they don't knock down, even when they're walking through places that they're not supposed to. I don't have any pets, so, I never grew up with any. I don't feel a need to. I don't feel like I need to be entertained. I just never grew up with pets, Cats don't really do it for me, although there's a guy I used to war game with a while ago, and he had a white cat named Jake. Jack, not Jake. Jake would have been a good name for him too. And he was awesome. Like he came over and a lot of cats are like, where's my food, bitch? That's how they are. It's like, I don't want to do anything for you. The other one just kind of wants to. Cat comes and lays next to me. I'll pet it. I don't have a problem with that. You know, I just don't like pets when they get on you when you don't want them to get on you, and I don't want to live with them. You know, because the house gets dusty enough as it is. Imagine dog hair or cat hair along with it too. You know, they know way better than that. I see people post things all the time, like on these modeling groups. Oh, this was destroyed by a cat. I'm like, that would only happen. Well, that wouldn't happen at all, as I don't have any. But that would only happen once. Whatever that's supposed to mean. Okay, I think I'm going to. What did we do? Did we do the dark tone on it? Let's do dark tone on the windows. And we're gonna have to let that dry a little bit. Now, if I want to use the front one, ooh, let's do this. Okay, how is this going? We want to keep the back ones. The front one's not that important. But yet we don't want the whole damn thing to fall apart. Good news is I have a spare one of these. I bought an extra one of these without knowing. This part's actually kind of enjoyable. Like, try to figure out how you want to make something. We want the little small windows here, even though we're going to put mesh over this. But the front one can go, and it rides there, which is on the bloody edge. All right. We should do it. What's the last time I did something that didn't turn out well? Shut your mouth, boy. Oh, I hear people. Be right back in a second. Okay. Well, I could cut from the inside. I'm going to scrape this thing up, unfortunately, but I should have planned better. I think cutting it from the inside is the way to go, because I don't mind having that little frame. Now, let's go ahead and I do this all the time. Like, I could still use this one, and then I just never go back and use it. Try not to be wasteful. It's really unsatisfying to do shit like that. Like ordering a drink and not drinking it. Is that a ridge there? I guess it is. I should be able to cut along that ridge. It's kind of an optical delusion. Do you want to cut the whole way across? Yeah, let's just cut that. I'm going to try to leave that little frame in there, so there'll be a little frame left. I got nothing to lose by trying to leave it in there. If I decide to say, I'm going to just cut the thing out, well, I can't go back and add it in. Well, I'd have to make it out of a different material, and that is not worth my time. Looks good. We want to take it right down. We want to take the sides the same way. And we can remove the part that has the windshield wipers. Okay, so we want to do the sides. Like so. I said, you know, I'm going to do this, as I like to say, is I'll work on a new skill. Maybe I'll be good at something that I don't know that I'm good at yet. Maybe I'll just fail at something else. Now, I should be able to cut from this side too. And that's not how you fucking do that. And I've got one little tool that might come in handy once we get this in the right place. I said, this is actually not a patience issue for me. But editing the video, like, get it out there, yeah, that's definitely like gnaws at me. It may be too soon to do this. I'm gonna, this set, I'm going to use on the 3D printed stuff, I think. So that if it's got any lines, I don't know that I'm gonna be successful with it, but it's slow enough that you shouldn't be able to fuck it up too badly. I mean, you could just... Alright, here we go. Let's go up to 2. Okay, well. I want to put holes in a windshield. This would be the stuff to do it with. Let's do 3. It's amazing that it holds it in place considering there's no clamp or something. Well, that's a huge time-saving thing. Not having to tighten something down. What if we did this? Yeah, it fits in there snugly. Yeah, not great. Not great for this. This is actually tougher than you would think. Damn plastic. Alright. It's probably good that it didn't do that much of a dent on it, because that means it's probably going to be safer to use on the 3D printing stuff. That is a neat looking tool. Is that like an electric Dremel? It is something the wife picked up without me asking at for Christmas. And what's it made with? It's actually an engraving pen, but it has lots of bits on it. Resparked. And she said it was relatively inexpensive. And it's USB charging and probably useless on white metal stuff, but I don't really do that much white metal stuff. So I haven't used it much. But it's one of those things like, okay, let's find a use for it kind of thing. But yeah, it's battery. The Dremel's too powerful for this. It's just like, you know, just like, it's like gone. And I don't like using the Dremel in here. It's too noisy. It creates too much flash, you know. Even though I've got the foot pedal one that I can go relatively slow with. And the worst thing about it is just the flex one I have. It's you have to tighten it with a special key, and you can't like hand tighten it and then get it close and then tighten it with the key. You have to do the entire thing with the key. But it could come forward really well. Yeah, bet it could. I mean, the slow speed's pretty slow. Yeah, I bet it could. Let's see how it works on the 3D printing lines that are coming. How do you know they're going to have lines? They are. A lot of these materials are really hard. You wonder, like, how did I break this as a kid? Or how did kids break them? I don't know that I had a habit of breaking things like this. Okay, we've gone through there. Let's do this too for consistency. And probably the biggest disappointing is that not everything plastic will work with the weld cement. If everything plastic worked with a weld cement, it would be awesome. I think that Adam Savage guy made a video about getting rid of lines and 3D prints. I'll look it up later and send it to you. See if it has any relevant info. Well, the 3D printing one that I'm getting, their compound is so hard. You can't budge it with sandpaper. I don't know what he uses, but it's super, super hard. You know, and the 3D printing lines, look, the reality is it looks like you get used to it. Is it my preference to have heavy printed lines and things? No. But I could deal with it, you know. It really it drives other people bananas. They were like, that looks great, but you shouldn't have wasted your time doing it, but that printer's not very, I'm like, dude, man, ease off, you know? Like, you know, if you get something and you know it's going to have that, it's okay. When it's a surprise, like, well, it looks really smooth in the picture, but what I got is, it needs to look like what you get. Like, who's that manufacturer? Museum Miniatures. Museum Miniatures has started now for 4 or 5 years to make 3D renderings of their castings before you get them. And I actually don't like the 3D renderings because they all look squatty and they all look like they're the same. But when you get them, because Joe ended up getting some his Acadian and his troops, his Bronze Age guys, they look really good, but they're not representative of the photo of the 3D renderings on their website. They look better than in my opinion, they look better than the 3D renderings on their job site. The 3D renderings look very squat and they look like, you know, Games Workshop figures, proportionally. So again, you're not getting something that's representative. And in that case, getting something better, but I'm sure there's somebody out there that wants figures that look squat and will be disappointed because they're not. Just like when you have some kind of figure, man, Essex. I think Essex does themselves in by trying to show painted figures. Because unless you've got somebody that's painting your figures like the guy that was painting the ones for is it Legio Heroica? Man, I don't remember anymore, man. I stopped looking at stuff in 4 years from now and forget. The Italian caster that ended up like passing away and his family didn't continue it. I don't have any of his figures, but their painter is really amazing. Like, really makes those figures shine. As a general rule, just post pictures of the actual lead, give them like a wash, you know, a black wash on them, leave them be. And then people can imagine what colors they need and stuff like that. But you start painting things and you're not dialing them up to 11, I think you do a disservice. You know, some people have said I've heard people that say it's the opposite. You can have the opposite effect by having things that look too good. Like the way the Games Workshop stuff. You know, everything Games Workshop sells, whoever they have painting their stuff, you know, they're like deluxe painters, right? They make things look really good. And I've had people that have said that they're discouraged by the paint jobs because they get them and then they realize they can't make them look that good. Well, that's on you, you know? I've been there. I've gotten stuff and it's like, you know, well, now we have the internet, right? So we can share ideas and we can all get better. because I've gotten better. You know, I see something that I really like that blows what I'm doing away. I'm like, fuck this. We're turning my work up to a 12. You know, it doesn't piss me off. It empowers me. You know, it's like, oh, there is a better way to make this look. So, but I've already got a lot of the skills that I can refine to get it to make those modifications. If you're just starting, I can see it being overwhelming. You know, but you gotta want to put in the time. You know, any time that I've seen miniatures that look better than mine, or that I like more than my own stuff that I've done, they spend even more time painting it than I do. It's not like there's some quick method to like, oh, I'm just gonna dip them in this tea mix and then sprinkle this stuff on them and ta-da, they'll look better than what I do. No, you got to put in the effort. You know, if you want that type of result, if you want a result that it's gonna blow you away, you can't shortcut your way to greatness. So, yeah, I used to watch his show. What was it, MythBusters? The first couple of seasons. I really enjoyed that show, and then they started doing that bullshit where they were going to do 3 experiments, and they started all 3 of them. But this is what I'm talking about. It gives people ADD. You know, you're going to do 3 things, right? And you have a half-hour show. So instead of spending 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, they start a little bit of this one, and then move to this middle one, and move to the last one, and then all 3 complete at the end. I'm like, that's too much like work for me. Like, let's start something and complete it. Like, yeah, but people will lose interest. I said, yeah, but you're giving them freaking a problem that they need medication for. I don't like that stuff. Like, let's start something, let's finish it. I only hop around on this because I have to because of drying time. But I would rather just, let's work on one thing, complete it, you have something to show for it, you saw something to its completion. Now, maybe if I had a job that was like really fucking dull and like nothing happened, like, you know, like you're stamping things, and that's all you're doing, yeah, you'd want to mix it up a little bit, but. You know, when you're writing stuff, do you like writing multiple things at once? Well, sometimes you have to, probably, because you get stuck. But let's knock out an assignment. Not like, well, I did a little bit of this assignment, a little bit of that one, and a little bit of this other one. Like, okay, so you got nothing done. My wife ended up working at this job that for a little while, and had what she called a Google office. So it's like one big room, and I mean, there's computers and stations and stuff like that, but it's all one big room. It's like communal, and beanbag chairs here, and somebody playing with a hacky sack, and just chaos. And I mean, I can't do work in that kind of environment. I need to be like, all right, we're working on something that's critical. Let's close the door. Let's knock it out. Let's get through it. Not like, well, we're gonna have a meeting about having a meeting, and then we'll think about meeting, and then we'll think about our feelings, and what the fuck, man. We gotta knock things out, and it feels good to knock things out. Yeah, I couldn't work in that environment. Like, I can't even listen to like music through headphones and do what I do for a living. It's too distracting. I could do this, but this is kind of mindless. Yeah, and then we'll cut out the bottom. We'll come down here and we'll cut the bottom out. I may have to use the Dremel, or I'll be here a decade. Just somewhere down here. It's not really critical where, but just far enough so you can't see that. Same thing here. You punched through yet? No, okay. Yeah, I don't want one of them Google offices. Got to listen to something while you work or paint. Really? You can write while you listen to something? Well, good for you. I can't do that. Paint, yeah. Work, no way. Because then you fuck up, and then you have more work to do. Oh, not yet. Don't get carried. Don't get overly excited. Man, I hope this is worth it. I know, if I could just heat this up a little bit, it'd be quicker, but then I gotta stop and heat it up. You gotta worry about melting the plastic then too. It's just super thick. It's a lot thicker than it should be. Yeah, it's probably a mil. I gotta listen to something if I'm like mowing the lawn or something like that. Pressure washing. If you like the World War I scene though, have you checked out Dan Carlin's World War I series he has? Forget what the hell it's called. Countdown to Armageddon or something like that. It's free. It's like a 6-part series, and it's really pretty interesting. It reminded me because I was last time I pressure washed my house, the old house. It's taking forever, and I'm just gobbling that stuff up. Let's see what it's called. U.S. lands bomber at UK airbase after warning of surge is struck. I'm not interested in this article, but man, a B-1 bomber is just gorgeous. I love the lines on a B-1 bomber. Okay. Dan Carlin, World War I podcast. Let's see. It's like Blueprint to Armageddon or something like that, I think is what it's called. Oh, there's new stuff I haven't listened to. Mania for subjugation. It's like a Greek one. Interesting. He's got some cool covers on him too. Can't beat free, man. You can buy him a coffee if you want to. Supernova in the East. That's the whole Pacific War. That one was pretty good too. Wrath of Khans. Yeah, I don't care about the Mongols. I think I listened to that one. King of Kings. Blueprint for Armageddon. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's 5, and they are. Oh, they may not be free anymore. It's a lot. Yes, package is on the way. Yeah, you gonna tell me where it is? You want to know what I'm getting? You do, but I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna steal my own thunder. Uh, 2 tanks and 3 unarmed vehicles. And something that's none of those. So not a shitload of stuff. A dead calling guy gets me impatient when he takes a long time to say something. He takes a long time to get his shows started. He's all this poetically crap, like just like get on with it. He also has a little meter with his voice, and I think all the spoken people do. I forget what it is that he does. I know that Tick would do the thing. He would end everything and end it in the same way. And every sentence also finishes also in the same manner. It's like, but I'm sure I have things that I do that annoy the shit out of people. But yeah, he takes a long time getting started. It's like, is this going to have any kind of detail, or is this just going to be some feel-good thing? And fortunately, I feel like it's only at the beginning of the episode that he does that. Oh, you know what he does? He does a lot of, he quotes people. He does da-da-da-da-da, quote, end quote. So, like, it disturbs that a lot. I mean, I understand plagiarism and all that, but I don't give a fuck, right? I just want the information. I want the information to make it interesting, that'll make me go and do a deep dive on certain parts of what I hear. But he does the quote, end quote crap constantly. Constantly. But he's supposedly a war gamer. I think that's probably how I found him. He's a Colorado war gamer. Try Through the Mud and the Blood by Two Fat Lardies for World War I. I'll check it out sometimes. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the problem with World War I is, I got no interest in playing some trench thing. It's just, that little trench game that Compass makes, or what, is it Compass? That you turn me on, that's a really cool game. But that's not a typical trench game. That's like that's a pretty cool game. That's a really cool game. And the guy that designed it, I think, did a really good job. He sucks at coming up with names for his characters, though. That guy gets an F in my book. Yeah, some people don't put a lot of effort into that. I think it's super important. Like, I was building my Japanese squad. I went through and found out most Japanese surnames from the 1940s, which are the most common ones. Because you need to have those guys. You don't want to use a name that looks cool, but there's like only one guy that ever had it, kind of thing. So that kind of stuff's important to me. It may not be to somebody else. But a little trench game's cool. Whatever the hell it's called. Trench Raid or whatever. I remember when I used to work at the hobby store, we had this game that I always thought it was a really weird looking cover. And if you look at it on Board Game Geek, I think is what I haven't been on Board Game Geek in a long time. They make fun of the game as well. Oh, it looks like somebody else stole the name. There's a modification for Doom 2. Like, dude, pick a different game. Trenchfoot. as this ziggy looking guy. The guy at the bottom is just really strange shapen. His face. It doesn't fit under the helmet. Like, he's going to get his nose blown off. And it's not necessarily because he has a big nose, it's just his head's too damn big. Actually, his nose isn't that big compared to the rest of his face. The distance between his eye and his ear is like, a meter. Anyhow, I remember this game, so I looked and see what the mechanics, and it's this old school game where you're running a squad, like you got 8 guys or whatever, and you have to pre-plan where each of them moves the whole time. And that's like an exercise in insanity. It's an exercise, and it's not because it involves all that pre-planning, which I also don't like, but it also involves you're trying to do that hidden from the other guy, and you're trying to coordinate it so that maybe you want this guy to hop in the trench at the same time that this guy hops in the other side of the trench, but you're off by a little bit, so you fuck it up. And I mean, maybe that's just fog of war, and that's okay too, but that's just frustrating, I don't get frustrated by rolling dice and not getting what I want. I get frustrated by man, I wanted to do this at this time and I didn't, die rolls are die rolls. They screw everybody equally. I think you looked at Two Fat Lardy's game and decided it wasn't what I wanted. World War I had a lot of trench warfare and mud, but that wasn't the entire war. The mud was just seasonal, like in Ukraine. Yeah. What was your favorite map of all the ones that we've played so far in Easy Red? I'm just surprised the Italian ones were as good as they were. I mean, I'm really surprised. They were pretty cool. Because I don't have a really great impression of Italy. Whatever, it's a sideshow kind of thing, I hope that guy keeps getting maps. So I don't mind giving him some money because he's not going to keep doing stuff unless people support him. I don't know if monetarily is what he's interested in, but people need to play his game or he's not going to add more stuff to it. Trench Raid, Aces of Valor, and the Raiders of the Deep were the 3 games I really enjoyed playing, and it got me into World War I. Raiders of the Deep. That's not that ship one that looked really cool, is it? There's a World War I surface raider game, and I want to say either Avalanche Press or Compass comes together, and I get both of those companies mixed up. I've ordered from Avalanche Press. I don't have a Compass game yet, but I get both of their catalogs through the mail, and they have similar looking catalogs. Well, whatever they find me. Raiders of the Deep, U-Boats in the Great War. Kaiser's Pirates is the one I'm thinking of. Kaiser's Pirates is I've not played it. I read that book, Kaiser's Pirates. That's a good book. Yeah, which is that one that? Well, my World War One. I'll have to give you a recommendation on one of those, on one of the books that I have. I don't remember which one it is. And obviously, it's not the Jutland book, but the one where it goes into what happens with the Dresden after the Battle of Falkland Islands. It's like a movie. They would fuck it up if they made it a movie, but it's really good. It's really, really good. I mean, there's other parts of the book that are good too. It's just that was just kind of something it wasn't really on my radar. Setting the East Ablaze book looks damn good. I have not played it, but I picked up the rules and the Dunsterforce book. Also, howdy. Ulf just comes in, blah, like the Kool-Aid man. Oh yeah, setting the East ablaze. Well, I do like that title. Setting the East ablaze rules. What is that? Oh, it's Russian Civil War. You guys ever played what's that any of the Perfect Captain rules? They have what, red factions, red something. Red Orchestra. No, I never played Red Orchestra. That was a World War II Eastern Front shooter only. Red something. I always wanted to play Pistolado. But man, it's like, I don't want to play it bad enough to read through that. Get out, get out. There we go. Man, this Scarlet Scoundrel's taking some time to do. It'll look good when we're done with it. Whoop! Went too far, but it is an issue. It is not an issue because I really didn't have a... That part's not going to be seen. I just want to keep a little mini window there. Alright. Got the two sides cut. Let's work on it a little bit from this side. I think it's the Dresden, anyways. Yeah, this is a light cruiser, like the Emden. Well, not the same class as the Emden, I don't think, but one class newer or one class older, or one subclass newer. They look the same. You know, they got the 4.1-inch guns along the end, two of them on the front, so you can't shoot. Very hard to shoot both of them, although I guess they could overlap a little bit. But you either get the port or the starboard side engaging a target. 3-stacker. Ram bow. Not a very attractive ship, but make sure we don't have our finger underneath that. I don't want to send myself to the hospital because I don't have a medical degree. Luckily, this is the only window we need to do this on. And just think it'd be cool to do it this way. I may decide that I took the wrong path. I'll knock the whole window out. Well, this knife is going to be shot after this. The only thing I don't like about Gaslands is flamethrowers. I don't like that they take 2 slots. It makes it really difficult to put them on small vehicles because it's basically going to be the only weapon you have. And their range is really short. They could be in a situation where it's like, oh, they never get to fire it, so to put all your eggs in that basket, but it's not that much of a problem because it's not like, well, I'm going to make one vehicle and that's it. It's going to be usable for everything. It's like, no, you just don't get stuck driving that vehicle, if you don't want to, or you have to play it a certain way. You'll have to go up and close with the enemy. Man, this is taking. Wish I could tell how much I have left to do to it. Yeah, it works really nice for bullet holes. That little thing. I'd rather model my vehicles after they've, not gotten torn up just yet. Yeah, it still looks good to me. You can seal it, but all right, I'll be right back. I'm going to little boy's room, and I think we're going to bring in some heavy artillery. Be right back. All right, it's too big. It's too big and bulky to bring in here. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to take the Dremel out there, cut this out, and then just get it kind of close where we can trim it with this when I come back. So I'll be right back in a few. All right. Next time I have to do this, we'll do it with that tool from the get-go. Amazing. And it's amazing because it has the foot pedal that you could go really slow with. But it has tons of apps to cut through this. And it's like, I could have saved myself 45 fucking minutes. I could have just done it that way. I think I still would want to score it, but, be able to knock out all of it and just come in, punch a hole, and then just work it around. We're still going to have to trim it a little bit, but, it did most of the heavy lifting here. I feel like starting to tell people I have to go bring the heavy artillery and Nip it to the restroom. Well, it depends what you're doing. Doesn't it? Let's see if we did this enough. Okay, so the bottom is now invisible down there. So we just need to get the sides. And I want the glass on these other sides. Okay? Yeah, so now we'll use this little guy. We'll see if this helps us or not. The other one's just adjustable. This one doesn't have the amount of torque. That one has a shitload of torque. You know, the whole the Dremel attachment thing. Let's use the smallest one we have that is flat. This is flat on the sides. It's just so damn bulky. I mean, the motor on it is freaking heavy. Well, that's not cutting it enough. Practice down here first so you don't fuck it up. Okay, this is really easy to use. This, like, you gotta, like, go out of your way to go too far with it. We'll leave the corner alone. Alright, we gotta come up with a name for this thing. This is like the super sander. That worked really, really well. That worked really, really well. Yeah, so I want to leave a little bit of a frame of that. Now, okay, we can get to there. Like I said, I specifically wanted to do this so I could, like, work on another skill. I'm like, okay, well, I found out don't do it this way. Actually, probably scoring it a little bit so that you have a line where you want to stop at is probably not bad, but that's cool. That's really, really cool. Okay, since we cut all that way out, we have a fine cut there where it meets. And I'm probably going to paint that little frame red or black or whatever so that it looks like it's reinforced. Alright, now before I get too far along, let me put this on here how we think it's going to fit. Before I go and trim it and do all that and it ends up being in vain. There was another. Oh, this one's much larger. No, this is the one that we're going to use. Visualize. Well, this fits in there nicely in that this covers up all the spots well. However, it's going to be a little tricky to get this thing in here and slide that thing underneath there. Not anything that can't be overcome, but You know, if nothing else, I could slice this into 2 pieces and then glue the, in other words, slice it here and then glue this inside and then put the top and then glue the thing on the front. That would work too. It's not like it's a real weapon. We gotta have it available for maintenance. I'm like, you could just imagine how that works. So before I go and trim this out, it actually fits better with the glass than without it. Yeah, I think we like that. The plastic that's on this windshield is pretty darn hard. I think that'll do it. Visualize it not being yellow. Yeah, it fits in there. It fits in there really nice. All right, I think. How easily does this cut? Something made of the same material. It's not the same printer. I don't think it is. Brittle shit. Do I have a saw? I do. Yeah, this is gonna work. All right, we got it started. Now finish it. All right. That's where it matches up. Okay, perfect. Now I should be able to glue this here. Still being troublemaker. Okay. Oh, let's do it correctly. I think I may need to raise this a little bit. Man, I can't see shit down here. There we go. Give me one of them credit card things. That's what I'm looking for. No. Okay. Damn it, man. It's there somewhere. I saw you that time. Now, are you too fucking tall now? Yes, good. Let's take one of them off. Here's my tweezer. I'm going to glue this towards the front. Okay. I don't know exactly what the hell is happening. I don't know exactly what the hell is happening. Maybe. Should have mounted on the fucking roof. That'll learn me. I think we solved it. Yeah. Yeah. I think this frame is the problem. It's pushing it down there ever so slightly. All right, let's just enlarge that area. Doesn't even have to be straight across. It can be curved like that a little bit. It might actually give us some caricature. Okay. Now it's too low. All right. This balsa thing isn't working. Bastard. Where's that third one? Been with the dentist when you have this thing out when I'm watching a dental live stream. I don't know, you have a bad experience with the dentist? I don't. And I've had some work done. But I mean, I didn't get a cavity until I was 26, so. But they've fallen off the back, you sons of bitches. Well, we'll just keep cutting them. Yeah, lots of people have bad experiences with the dentist. It's the regular doctor I don't like going to. You know, you go to the dentist, they don't tell you you're fat. They just tell you, man, you have good teeth. I like going to the dentist. I do not have a fear of the dentist. Because I go. I guess if you don't go, you have a fear of the dentist. I know there's some people that probably don't ever go to the dentist. I mean, you got to go for your cleanings. Does Britain provide for free dental care? Probably not. Okay, now we're where we need to be. All right, so hurry. Let's put that down. Okay, that. God, there's so many layers of this stuff. There's 4 fucking layers of this. I better use the green one in case something goes sideways. Oh. Yeah, and the dentist, you get like your appointment and they're on time. You go to the regular doctor, who knows when they're gonna. Your appointment's for 8:30. Yeah, I've come in first thing in the morning so that they're timely, and still like people come in ahead of me. Like I'm there before they ever open the place, and you still have to wait. I believe where it needs to be. Nope, it's freaking one higher. Son of a bitch. Okay. So we got the one that we can adjust. You just set that chain gun on a stack of books. Now this one's too high. Maybe using that balsa wood is the freaking mistake. All right, be right back, folks. Alright, we had to load the cars up for the girls. Alright, sorry about that, but that's what happens when everybody's awake. Normally they wouldn't even be out of the bed, but they gotta leave early and gotta go to a wedding and all kinds of stuff. Alright, so. It fits well. And that'll get glued in like that. I think we're just going to move forward with it. Like a whole stack of fucking books this thing's on. All that'll be painted black. So one thing we're going to do now is we're going to pull this off and we're going to stain this in whatever the hell this thing is called. Dark tone. This isn't the one I was using. What was the one I was using? I don't think this is the one I was using. Yeah, maybe it was. I made a mistake thinking I made a mistake. Alright, let's see if we can... I want to use this brush that's not too small, and let's grab this by here because that's not going to get coated. And even though we're probably going to paint the frame on this, and we're going to paint the inside too. We're going to have this illegal tint. I put the tinting on my car. The guy says, "What? How much tinting do you want?" I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "You want it legal or illegal?" I said, "I don't want to have cops have one for more of a reason to come fuck with me." I said, make it legal tint. It's dark enough." Well, these guys don't give a shit. Even the cops are bad guys here. Well, some people may argue the cops are bad guys in real life, but I'm not going to go there. This little town I live in has a cop infestation. So it better not be any fucking crimes if you're out there like... ticket mode. And it's a cop infestation because not only do you have the cops of the little town, but you've got like the counties here too, and the highway patrol. Instead of getting on I-75, they're in this little town. Like, get your lazy ass out there and get on I-75. And it's been that way forever. I mean, I've worked on this town since 1994. It's always been the case. Dark tone, my evil twin, that's right. I guess I'm not that dark. I tan well. I'm white, I'm just not pasty white. I looked up something the other day. Thanks to the Ulfman. The Ulfman sent me over a picture. Your what was that picture you sent me? That Honky Kong. a truck with Honky Kong written on it. And then I'm like, what's the origination of the name Honky? And there was one part about it that I thought was really interesting. Honky is an American English slang term often considered a derogatory slur for a white person. It is believed to have originated in the early 20th century, potentially derived from the Wolof phrase, W-O-L-O-F. I don't know what the fuck that is. Phrase, it's compound X-O-N-Q-N-O-P-P. Zonk Nope. I don't know what the hell that means. But here's the thing. Here's the interesting thing about it is, the definition of that is red-eared. Interesting, red-eared. So it might be some of you Celtic people that I had one of these guys in high school. No, I didn't have any guys in high school. There was this guy in high school that was red-haired, a ginger, and I'm talking like a bright fucking ginger, you know. And you know, he'd get all flustered, and his skin would be all mottled in different colors, and you know, his ears would be red. So I guess he's a honky. What the hell is a Wolof? I don't know. We're here to get educated. Wolof language. Really? Wolof is a major West African language, primarily spoken in Senegal by over 90% of the population, the Gambia and Mauritania. It serves as a regional lingua franca and is spoken by over 10 to 18 million people. Well, they're doing a really bad job of getting that word out about that. It's a non-tonal language using Latin. Well, if I ever go down to my Modern Africa project, one of the nations is going to speak that. Wolofians. It's been a lifetime on Wikipedia. And people say Wikipedia has a lot of wrong information. I'll give them that. But it's more correct than any videos you see of the news that's happening now. I can't even watch videos of current events. It's all bullshit. Or it's bullshit suspect. And it's been that way for a long time now. Bullshit suspect. Gonna get going, catch you later. Alright, man. Alright, this should be dry enough to paint black. Yes. Alright, let's go ahead and do that. You know, people gripe about this Vallejo primer a lot. And I don't disagree with them, but I don't think that Strelnitz or whatever the hell it's called is better, and I hate the smell of it. It's unusual that I hate the smell of something. You know, because I'm used to, you know, like acrylics and stuff. But it smells terrible. It smells unpleasant. It doesn't smell terrible. This could use it out of coat anyways. And we probably need to do but man, it gets in every nook and cranny. And it doesn't create bubbles that later pop and show that you don't have any paint there. Which is honestly, it's probably most important property. Now, unfortunately, here's the part that sucks. I can't do anything until this is dry. Because the rest of it involved... What a jackass. Gotta paint this too. What a jackass. That needs to be painted as well. All right. Now, I'm leery of gluing any mesh on the windows without this being done first. I'm not sure I'm going to like how it looks. So we're probably going to hold off on that. Although, well, I've got this stuff here. Let's see, which one of these is the primer? I'm going to go ahead and prime where the headlamps are. Lotus Cortina, I've never heard of it before, ever. Lotus, obviously. Cortina, why would you name a car a curtain? Yeah, this thing will look good. It's just, yeah, it just takes some time. That's all right. The important thing is that we're happy with it when we're done. Otherwise, we really wasted our time. At this point, we have to play a waiting game. So we're going to sign out for this morning. I'll definitely be on tomorrow morning. I don't know if it'll be any time between the two, though. So, I appreciate you guys coming by. And I'm probably going to have that video, that unboxing video, out before I come back and finish this. And I'm gonna try not to get sidetracked and work on that stuff. So. We'll see how that goes.